fucking furries. Petty Puny Planet. Hello everybody, my name is Leo the Dragon and welcome to Petty Puny Planet. It's a game on itch.io. Yes, I'm playing itch.io again. Games again, because you know you can't always play. Okay, you cannot always play Steam games. I played it only once. Oh, we found a planet. What is this? Happiness, wealth, planet age after planet birth. AB. What? Oh look, a planet with tiny people on it. Let's micromanage the stardust out of that. From now on, you're in charge of it. It's awesome job though, so you might want to take a century-long break after taking a decision. I just hope nothing breaks down while you're gone. Well, here we go. What's next, oh Captain, my Captain? Discover fire? Someone got burned. Anyway, people learn to make how to use fire. 100 years later. It seems that you've got a pyromaniac in your planet. The little deviant sets some houses on fire. That's not good. We have zero happiness. The people had to flee in terror. What's the worst thing that could happen? Ruining the world? Oh right, still no pressure. Smelting crafts. Farming. People need to eat. Some water, some seeds, and suddenly crops. 100 years later. Nothing happened in 100 years. Okay. At least your people got to relax. For every action, the consequences, more or less. Make a moon. You made a moon. 100 years later. Oh boy, some trees caught fire. The people had to flee in terror. So, what's the plan for the next century? Evolution. Make a second moon. Sure, why not? At least you're making the king of all cosmos happy. That's square moon. 100 years later. Nothing happened in 100 years. At least your people got to relax. Science, evolution, dumb labor. What do tiny people need this time? Evolution. The civilization has gone stale. It's time to spice things up. 100 years later. Oh boy, some trees caught fire. The people had to flee in terror. What's next, oh Captain, my Captain? Make a third moon? This is getting ridiculous, but at least this one's cute. It actually is. It's a cute moon. 100 years later. Okay. Apparently, these have been very tough times. Scarcity and lack of jobs. Everyone is having a bad time. Let's blame it on bad luck! Whip it out, boss! Draw wings! People want to fly, but they don't like waiting in airplanes. Decisions. Let's give them wings. 100 years later. The world is doomed. It seems that you've got a pyromaniac in... Okay, we already knew that. The people have to flee in terror. I know. Learn cooking. Keeping your people happy will eventually make them wealthy. Plan accordingly. Learn cooking. They learn to make lots of spaghetti. 100 years later. Nothing happened in 100 years. Okay, good. Let's try again. Grow gills. I wonder if these people would enjoy breathing underwater. Let's find out. 100 years later. 100 years of nothing. Why do we even bother? Your choices might change the results of the events that happen while you're away. Experiment. I guess we can teach them writing and etc. The people can now preserve knowledge for future generations. That's good. 100 years later. Oh boy, some trees caught fire. Thankfully, everyone retreated to the ocean. Water breathing is such a blessing. Now that you're back, them with knowledge. One more choice? One more choice? Oh, huh? Are 3 choices not enough for you? Well, from now on, you get to choose from 4. Can we make a 100 years later? Can we make a 4th moon? Nothing happened in 100 years. Let's try again. Certain actions can bring the world to a logical conclusion. I wonder if you can find all the endings. There are multiple endings. I didn't know though. Smelting craft. The people got good at getting ores. Smelting and using tools to get more ores. 100 years later. Oh boy, some trees caught fire. Thankfully, everyone retreated to the ocean. Water breathing is such a blessing. Certain action can bring the world to the logical conclusion. I wonder if you can find all the endings. I'm reading quite fast. Medieval weapons. Let the people have swords and flails. Medieval weaponry is the best. 100 years later. Turns out your people don't know how to mine well, and they caused the mine to collapse. Thankfully, they had wings that helped them leave the place. No big deal. Certain choices will randomly impact the world. Do nothing. Rest. This is basically the same. Add riches. Hold a festival. Add riches. You fill the world with riches and people start hoarding them. 100 years later. 100 years of nothing. Okay. Why do we even bother? I don't know. Keeping your people happy will eventually make them wealthy. Planet accordingly. What's this? Lycanthropy. I don't know what's that. Let's give people fangs and fur every now and then. Fucking furries. 100 years later, we made them furries. Apparently there has been a very tough time, since scarcity and lack of jobs. Everyone is having a bad time. Let's blame it on bad luck. Keeping your people will happy and make them add riches, more riches. You fill the world with riches and people start hoarding them. 100 years later. Okay, nothing happened in 100 years. Okay, at least your people got to relax. Cool. Make the RNG be ever in your favor. This is a quote from a movie. This is a famous quote. Star Wars? Star Trek. Star Trek. May the force be ever in your favor? I don't know. Fantasy theme! Let's fill this world with mystical races, creatures, and dragons. Everyone loves dragons when they get their asses burned off. 100 years later. Oh boy, some trees caught fire. Thankfully, everyone returned to the ocean. War breathing is such a blessing. What's the worst thing that could happen? Ruining the world? Oh right, still, no pressure. Magic! How about adding some wizards and spellcasters to the planet? Not a bad idea. 100 years later. The tiny people got the good booze and tons of food. Let's party! What's next, oh Captain, my Captain? Hold a festival! People from all over the world are gathering to have a good time. 100 years later. Oh boy, some trees caught fire. Okay, thankfully everyone retreated to the ocean. War breathing is such a blessing. May the RNG ever be in your favor. Science! Sure, give them knowledge. Just remember that sometimes science is more art than science. 100 years later. It appears that some group of misfits, including some elf, a dwarf, and even a tinier people, are embarking on a quest. Some jewelry delivery things. Here's hoping they do alright. Let's ask around some other time. Certain actions can bring the world to a logical conclusion. I wonder if you can find all the endings. Colossorama, I don't know what it is. The tiny people wanted entertainment. Let's give them an arena. A Colosseum of Mayhem, a Colossorama. 100 years later. Okay, people from all over the planet gather. It wasn't hard, it was a very small planet, to watch a magical showdown. The scientists showed up as well. It gave them a lot of material to research. I like their optimism. Your choice might change the results of event that might happen when you're away. Experiment. Computers! It's time to introduce the world to the wonders of the glorious PC Master Race. 100 years later. I asked around about the epic jewelry delivery quest. The people are long dead, but they're still being talked about. They got into troubles, got separated, something not flying winged monsters. Wizards battling big scale war a pair of towers. Let's check on it some other time. What's next, oh Captain, my Captain? Monarchy. There's so much wealth just lying around. You choose a random person with a beard and selected him to manage the riches. What could possibly go wrong? 100 years later. Brr, who turned on the freezer? Apparently there was a century-long ice age. The tiny people stayed indoors in their warm, fire-heated homes. Good for them. Certain action can bring the world to the logical conclusion. I wonder if you can find them all the endings. Dental plan, online streaming, make the planet the moon. Just saw the moon! I guess this was the only logical outcome. Oh well, should we look for another planet? Well, what do you know? It's a moon now. Moon ending. Population happiness, 90. Total wealth, 90. Planet age, 2,300 years. Find a new planet. Continue planet. Continue planet. Continue planet. I don't care. I'm gonna continue from it. I guess okay. Hey, you're back. Did you decide to stay with this planet? Alright. 100 years later. I'm just gonna continue because I've been recording for 10 minutes and I want to keep reading this because this is amazing. Thank you everyone. Yeah. Certain actually, yep. Dental plan. Your people need braces. They were expensive, but they're far healthier now. 100 years later. Okay, nothing happened in 100 years. Let's try again. Mysterious defect. Taxes. Pile up those peasants as it's time to collect their income. For a good cause, of course, I think. 100 years later. Nothing happened in 100 years. Let's try again. May the orange be ever in your favor. Rest. You let the tiny people mind their own business for a century. 100 years later. Okay. It seems that you've got a pyromaniac on your planet. Yes, I know. Manga. Competitive gaming. The tiny people decided to get good at video games. They held a century-long tournament. It was a good time. 100 years later. Wait, they played games for a whole century? Nothing happened in 100 years. Let's try again. Certain action can... Yep, okay. Advanced science! The tiny people are building robots and machines and whatnot. Has science gone too far? Let's push it. 100 years later. It seems that you've got a pyromaniac in your planet. Yeah, we already know about it. With the right combination of choices, happiness and riches, new events will be available. Okay, cool. Okay, online streaming. Apparently, the tiny people love watching other people do funny stuff on web. Everyone is doing it now. It'd be cool if you could stream the development of planets. Don't you think? Wink, wink. What if I stream this? This is actually a good idea. I might actually do it, but I can still do it. Wink, wink. 100 years later. 100 years of nothing. Why do you even bother? I don't know. Should I just stop? It's just the same thing. What is this game called again? Puny Pretty Planet. I don't know what the title is called. It's very PPP. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like down below in the comments. See you next one. Bye bye.